question 12. So part A, express 140 cos theta minus 480 sin theta in the form of k cos theta plus alpha, where k is more than 0 and alpha is between 0 and 90 degrees. Okay, so it's just addition formula. So we have 140 cos theta minus 480 sin theta. And that's equal to k times pi cos theta plus alpha. So if we expand it out, use the addition formula, that should be k cos theta cos alpha minus k sin theta sin alpha. And then that's equal to 140 cos theta minus 480 sin theta. And if those two are equal to each other, so we can just like compare the coefficients. So k cos alpha times by cos theta has to be equal to 140 times by cos theta. So we have k cos alpha equal to 140. And then k sine alpha times by sin theta has to be equal to 480 sin theta. So therefore, we have k sine alpha equal to 480. So divide them. Then we have tan alpha equal to 480 divided by 140. That would be 24/7. So then alpha is just equal to tan inverse of 24/7, which is 73 point, how many decimal? 2 decimal places. That would be 74 degrees. Okay. And then for the value of k, you can just use Pythagoras. So k is equal to square root of 140 square plus 480 square. So then that be equal to root 140 square plus 480 square. That's just 500. Okay, so therefore the final answer is just 500 cos of theta plus 73.74 degree. That's part A. And then part B. So a scientist studies the number of rabbits and the number of foxes in a wood for 1 year. So the number of rabbits are is modeled by this equation where T months is the time after the start of the year. So, and then A is a constant. So given that during the year, the maximum number of rabbits in the wood is 1,500, we only find a complete equation. Okay, so R equal to A plus 140 cos 30t degree minus 480 sine 30t degree. Okay, so A plus, so those two basically exactly the same. So we have 140 cos theta, 140 cos theta, minus 480 sin theta. This is also minus 480 sin theta. So the only difference is instead of theta, this is 30t. So we can just use the form we get from before. So that would be 500 cos instead of theta, this time is 30t, and then plus 73.74 degree. But we don't know what A is. So basically, they just want us to work out what the value of A. And then the maximum number of rabbits is 1,500. So we know our maximum has to be equal to A plus 500. Because for cos, the maximum is 1. And then 500 cos would be 500. So the maximum has to be A plus 500. That would be equal to 1,500. So A has to be equal to 1,000. So the equation is just R equal to 1,000 plus 500 times by cos 30t plus 73.74 degree. And then II, hence write down the minimum number of rabbits in the wood during the year according to the model. So II, the minimum number, it has to be 1,000 minus 500. So that will give us 500 as well. That would be the minimum number. And then the actual number of rabbits in the wood is at its minimum value in the middle of April. So C, use this information to comment on the model for the number of rabbits. So for this one, we can either, so because the it's in the middle of the April, yeah. So and then T months. So T months is a time after the start of the year. So basically, if you use T equal to 1, it means 1 year after the start of the year. So that would be January plus 1, that would be February. Yeah. And if T equal to 2 means January after 2 months, that would be March. So it says the middle of April. So that would be somewhere like T equal to 3.5. That's what the middle of April means. So there are two ways to do this. You can either substitute in T equal to 3.5 into the equation to see whether the value is close to 500 or not. Or you can solve the equation to work out T to see whether your final answer is close to 3.5 or not. Yeah, both works. So in this case, I think substitution should make it slightly simpler. So I'm just going to substitute in. So R is equal to 500, 1000 plus 500 cos of 30 times by 3.5, and then plus 73.74 degree. So put that in 1000 plus 500 times by cos 30 times 3.5 plus 73.74. So then that will give us 500.12, which is very close to 500. So I would say this model is very accurate because the answer is very close. So good model. As the value uh, the value is very close to 500 in the middle of April. Okay, and then part D. The number of foxes F in the wood during the same year is modeled by the equation F equal to 100 plus 70 sine 30t plus 70 degree. The number of foxes is at its minimum value after t months. We want to find, according to the models, the number of rabbits in the wood at time t months. Okay, so basically we need to find the capital T first, and then we substitute into the R equation to work out the number of rabbits. Yeah, it's not about the number of foxes; it's about the number of rabbits at the end. Yeah. But we do need to use the fox's equation to work out capital T first. And then we know the number of foxes at its minimum value has to be when sine is equal to -1. So sine 30t plus 70 degree is equal to -1. That means 30t plus 70 is equal to 270. And then 30t is equal to 200, and t is just 200 over 30, which is 20 over 3. So now we just use that to work out the number of rabbits. So R is equal to 1000 plus 500 cos of 30 times 20 over 3 plus 73.74 degree. So put in 1000 plus 500 times by cos of 30 times 20 over 3 plus 73.74. And then that will give us 1032.614. So I'm just going to round it to 1033. So that is our final answer.
Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, you can leave some comment. And then if you find the video helpful, please like it and subscribe it. May the A star be with you.